The question of whether or not you have to clean prior to conformal coating depends a great deal upon the soils that you're talking about. If you have a substrate that is not particularly clean, in other words has oils or greases or some barrier films upon it, then the conformal coating will not reliably bond to the substrate and you may not get the life out of the coating that you need. In terms of flux residues, if the flux residue itself is very stable, then it can be conformally coated over. Now at our company, we are a big proponent of cleaning, and almost everything is clean. We do have some cases where flux residues are left on the board, and we have done studies to examine the adhesion of conformal coating over flux residues. And almost any company that does leave flux residues on a board has done similar types of studies to determine whether or not the conformal coating will reliably adhere to those flux residues. So the answer, like all good engineering answers, is it depends. The most misunderstood thing about conformal coatings are what the conformal coating is intended to do. In my opinion, the conformal coating has three primary uses. Its first use is to prevent liquid water from contacting energized circuits. For us in the aerospace industry, that's very important because quite oftentimes our instruments are working in a very humid and condensing environment. The second function is to prevent particulate matter from contacting energized circuits. Quite oftentimes the end-use environment will have many particulate matter, sand, dust, soot, various particulates that have to be kept from the surface of the assembly. The third primary use of a conformal coating is to keep out the end-use environment, to provide some level of protection chemically against hostile vapors, things like sulfur gases, petroleum byproducts, marine air are all examples of hostile environments that you have to keep from the board. Failure to do so will generally mean things like corrosion, electrochemical migration, electrical leakage under humid conditions, and very seldom will your assembly lasts the entire design life if you do not conformally coat against these. What was the third question, Bob?
What's the best coating? What's the most reliable coating?
All right. I'm often asked the question of what is the best coating? What is the most reliable coating? And the answer, again, is it depends. Oftentimes, the selection of a conformal coating depends a great deal upon what you're asking the coating to do and how harsh is the end-use environment and what are the consequences of failure should the conformal coating fail to do its job. If you have an end-use environment that is very hostile, ones that contain very aggressive chemicals, very aggressive industrial gases, for example, then you will have to have a conformal coating that is very robust against that type of environment. I'm often asked, for example, many of our assemblies go into a marine environment where salt air is a particular problem. I'm asked the question of what is the best coating to pass a salt fog or salt air environment? And in my opinion, it is much more often a case of the quality of the coating job than it is the coating material itself. So you have to consider both the coating material, the coating method, the coating technique, and the coating quality when determining which particular coating is best for which particular application. The IPC's Conformal Coat Handbook is a very good discussion upon what are the pros and cons of various conformal coatings that are on the market today.
Absolutely perfect. One hit. Excellent. Right.